On the line with me this morning is Tom Bickert, and we're going to talk with Tom about a great, very ambitious project. Tom and his pals Tim Wesley and Jim Pane all used to write for the Indiana Gazette, and they have gotten together and come up with a new book. It's called Game Changers, a sports mystery conspiracy novel. Yeah. So let's visit with them. Our visit is presented by Marcus & Mack, voted the best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 4 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. You can visit them online at marcusandmack.com. After a long career in newspapers, Tom is just sitting around relaxing with nothing to do. Right, Tom?
I wish that were the case. When you retire, people find you.
Well, you've had you were telling me, a number of different things in which you are involved. You retired after how many years in newspapers?
Almost 45. I spent almost 6 years at the Indiana Gazette, and then 36 years at the Beaver County Times, and the last few years at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Yeah, wow. So you're all about Western Pennsylvania when you get a resume like that, and you are into some other things that are just as interesting. It'd be interesting to talk with you about that. But I want to talk about you and Tim and Jim all getting together. How do you decide to do something like this? Is this a long-time ambition that you finally said, let's make it happen?
The genesis of this is interesting. Tim, excuse me, I'm fighting a cold like everybody else right now. Tim came up with the idea, and this was back, I think it was like 2019, before COVID. And he approached me and another guy at the time and said, I've got this idea for a book, and I want you to help me write it. And he kind of outlined what he had in mind. The general idea was that there was sports games being fixed and the government was involved. Now, that was the starting point. Mm-hmm. And we would get together, and we pretty much, for the most part, we would get together in person because we felt the discussions were better that way. Mm-hmm. And we spent some time developing a plot line and saying, no, that doesn't work, and we start over again. And then COVID hit, and we were kind of shut down for a little while. And then we kind of brought the project back to life. I want to say it was like 2021. And Jim Pane was on board with us as our editor and organizer. And we started the process. And it was great because I've known Jim and Tim for 40 years. And the three of us worked together at various places. And we've stayed in touch over the years.
That's interesting, though.
Doing a project like this with people you know and trust is really a joy. I mean, it was quite the experience. And there were times where I don't say we ever argued about stuff, but we had some discussions about things that were like. And I admit I was probably the one many times that was saying, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to be believable. And Tim, to his credit, would always say, the believability bar is pretty low these days. And he's right. When you think of all the sports betting scandals that have come out in the last several months, I mean, would you ever believe that a major league pitcher is telling his friend, hey, on the fourth pitch, I'm going to throw one in the dirt. You can do a prop bet on that and make some money. Yeah. I mean, that's where we're at.
Yeah. And process was really one of the most interesting things about this. And I was wondering, how did you actually put it together? And you go from in-person meetings, and then was there a lot of remote stuff, everybody in their different location, in order to keep going with this project?
Yeah, we would have phone conversations about where we are with we would email each other a chapter, and then we would have a phone conversation about what we thought about that chapter, what worked or what didn't. And the interesting part was Tim was writing one part of the book, and I was writing another part of the book. And we had to figure out where those two parts were going to merge. And that was where the writing process really got interesting, and we had some really, really great discussions about how we were going to make that happen. And the real trick to doing this was writing the book with two different authors, but trying to keep the voice and the narrative similar or the same throughout. So it was there were some challenges there, and I hope we overcame them. I think by the time we were all done, we were pretty satisfied with what we had gotten to.
Yeah, it sounds like building the Transcontinental Railroad, hoping that you all meet at the same place.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. We and Jim being a really good editor and organizer, would remind us of that. Say, this is, we have to merge these two at some point, and this is how we're going. This is one way we can do it, and we kicked around different ideas, but it was a great process.
Were there,
and most of the time we were doing it sitting around at the ping pong table in Tim's basement. That was kind of like our headquarters.
Were there twists and turns that Tim might send you that say, "Oh, wow, didn't expect that. So let's build off of that a little bit."
Without giving too much away, there's one character in the book who meets a demise, and I had several options for that. Is this person going to die? Is this person going to live? Is this person going to be in a coma? We kicked that one around a great deal. And the funny part is a couple of my relatives and in-laws who have read the book all came back to that same point and says, "I can't believe you," and then, you did this. So that one point, and we knew that going in, we knew that was going to be a bit of a flashpoint.
Well, as long as you didn't write him still talking 2 chapters after he died, you're in good shape from that standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then it becomes a ghost story in addition to everything else. But it's to me, it's just a fascinating thing. Now, how Western Pennsylvania is that, or is it at all?
I don't know that it's really Western Pennsylvania, other than the fact that kind of the newsroom character. There is a newspaper character in this, kind of the protagonist of the book, and I would say, they tell you to write what you know. Mm-hmm. So that character was one I wrote based on my many years in a newsroom, and those newsrooms are all in Western Pennsylvania. So I suppose there is something to be said for that particular setting being more Western Pennsylvania than not. But a lot of the book is set in Washington, D.C. and the Beltway area. So we kind of hit upon that just as we were talking through the book. But it wasn't because any of us had spent a great amount of time there. Mm-hmm. It just seemed to fit the book best by using that setting.
Tom Bickert is our guest. He and Tim Wesley and Jim Pane have all gotten together to produce this book, Game Changers, a sports mystery conspiracy novel. That aspect of bringing the government into it as one of really a character, I guess you could put it, a character in the book. Was that awkward in any way because of the experience level with government? Was it a whole sea change for you?
Again, I was the one who was always saying, we have to make this believable. And there were times where I thought, I don't know if that's really believable. But Tim would bring out a lot of really good examples and say, okay, that might not seem believable, but this is fact. And we'd sit and talk about that and say, yeah, I guess that could happen. And there have been government scandals and government conspiracies around for centuries, and we don't even have to go back that far. When the whole during the the Reagan years when the guns to the Iran-Contra scandal broke, where we were, supplying money and guns, and people didn't know about that. The government can be pretty shadowy, and we kind of hit upon that from the beginning, and Tim really drove that part of the book.
Yeah, well, any government involvement can become a shady character when you get into a fictional setting because it's not so far off from reality. So tell me about the book is available now, yes?
Excuse me, yes, it is available on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and go to their books section, it's called Game Changers. There are several books that have that title, so you have to kind of scroll through to find it, but we had it up on Amazon, I think the first week of December, and we've been pretty happy with the response so far, and we're hoping we can build on that.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask what kind of reaction have you gotten from it, and from whom as well, because I would assume that people can read this from the standpoint of somebody who's getting themselves a real mystery type of deal, or somebody that's involved in sports and wants to know about sports gambling and everything. You probably have all kinds of different perspectives.
Yeah, and we sort of knew this would be at the outset, this would be the case where family and friends, were the first ones to jump on and read the book. But I've also had a few people people that I really didn't know, who got wind of it from one of my family members who sent me notes saying, hey, I read your book, it was really good. And they would offer some insight into why they liked it and what they found to be really interesting about it. So it's one of those things where we're hoping we can continue to build on that with family and friends, kind of kicking it off, and hoping that people who are just interested in mysteries or conspiracy theories or sports betting scandals are going to pick it up and give it a read as well. Yeah. And we have it available as an ebook as well, so that we had several people ask that from the beginning, and several people have already purchased the ebook too.
Well, I hope a lot of people find this book as we talk about it with Tom Bickert. The book is called Game Changers, a sports mystery conspiracy novel. Find it on Amazon. Tom, thanks so much for the visit this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Todd. Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
It's Indiana in the Morning on WCCS.